And we're back.
We are back.
From outer space.
In the cold workshop.
I know. Just see you standing there with that sad look. I don't know the words. With that sad look upon your face.
It's entertaining me anyway.
The only I always think of the Replacements, and they sing it in jail, and I love that film.
First movie reference.
It is. Put it in, Dav, after the intro. Chris Slix 650S. So let's pull out some pistons and give it a little clean. Let's get on it. So, Matt Crozier style So, if you don't know where we are, click the link here, and we'll forget to put it in. But go back to the last video and watch us strip in this M838T out of Chris Slix's 650S down to this. And today I want to pull the rods out, pull the pistons out, and clean the blockings. Pull the liners out so we can get this thing through the bloody wash tank. We'll clean ahead because I don't think I'll feel quite good about cleaning head.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll leave that there.
A nice before and after. Can't beat a before and after video, can you?
And we've got a part 2 as well.
Yeah, I know.
A quick follow-up.
Let's follow it up because we always get slagged off for not following it up.
Yeah.
So should we do that, Dav?
Let's make hay while the sun shines.
Make hay. Yep. And it also means I actually do get the job done.
Well, there is that.
I need to put together exactly what we need. So we may as well just, me and you on a Tuesday, get it stripped off.
A little strip down, a little chat, a little catch up.
Right, a British engine, and they use funny sized bolts.
What is all that about?
I know. Yeah, so the video we did yesterday that was going to go out tonight, we probably won't use now because we're going to use this, aren't we?
I think so. Just to mix it up a bit.
Yep.
And we've been talking about possibly changing the days that we upload videos.
Yeah, it was funny because obviously, you know, we're cool kids now, so we hang out with all the big YouTubers. Not. Matt and Matt rang me yesterday, so the two Matts rang me yesterday about something on they're doing. And they were sort of like, oh, don't drop the ball now, because organically it's the biggest video. Sorry, in the first week it's the biggest video we've ever done, isn't it, this?
Yeah. Which is strange, isn't it? Because we didn't really do anything different.
No, it just seems to have gone a bit mad. But what the two Matts said is, don't lose everything you've done by just doing a wander round. So I think we're going to do it a little bit, because me and you are kind of, you'd almost say stuck in habits, aren't we? Where we're like...
We're in a groove, definitely.
Yeah. So we're going to try and mix it up a little bit and carry the momentum.
And let's be honest, if you're going to take advice about YouTube, Matt Armstrong is not a bad place to start.
Take it off the biggest automotive YouTubers in the world.
Pretty much, yeah.
He did a video yesterday about bidding on the weekend, about bidding on something on fucking Copart, and it did more views than we've ever had. So it's, yeah. But...
Yeah, so I think New Year, let's try a few different things.
Let's try a few different things, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've got to say, happy birthday to my little mate, Ollie. So he was 14, so he is Jimmy's lad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was 14 the other day, and he's a cocky little shit. He's hilarious.
Was it his brother who was doing work experience
That's it. Yeah,
there
Matthew was here for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so Matthew is driving now, so we helped Jimmy out with his up.
Okay.
So he bought a little up.
He could have the northern version, which is an E-up.
An E-up.
E-up.
Car onto road.
Nice pindred like that.
That's that fucking... You've got to drop that in now as well, haven't you? Car onto road. That kid taking a piss out of his dad.
No, I don't remember that.
Have you not seen that?
Go on.
Oh, it's a lad on. Mate, honestly, we gotta get it up now because we'll forget to put it in, won't we? We get slagged for that all the time.
You say we.
Well, it's the royal we, isn't it?
This is the wrong we.
Car onto road. All I think of when I hear this is Ryan at Dark.
So we've just basically offended everybody.
Everybody, fuck it. Let's get cancelled.
Everybody up north.
You even search it on YouTube. Car on road.
Daddy, can you say chase?
Chase.
Daddy, can you say road?
Road.
Daddy, can you say path?
Car on road.
Nothing like being ripped by an 18-month-old.
Honestly, love him. That is. I get some shit for that. If you see someone, Ryan P, comment on this video,
Yeah.
you know who it is. Always makes me laugh. Car onto road. Anyway,
So,
what I have done so far, I haven't marked them, so just pull them out in order. So this is bank 1. We pulled piston 2 out in the last one.
we did.
Let me get the 4 out, and then we can we'll talk through what I would look for or what's what.
Yep.
There we go.
I noticed comments on the last video saying that you really should get this rebuilt quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, hurry up.
I don't know whether some people it's like tongue in cheek because obviously you always lose.
You lose the subtle nuances,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah.
One of them was I should use electric tools because then I must be charging too much if I do it by hand, so I can charge less if I do it with electric tools or
There you
battery
go.
tools.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. The other one was why does it take me so long? If I was quicker, I could charge less. How do you charge less than fuck all?
That would be a challenge.
Everybody knows I work for free. Right, so I've marked caps and the rods. I'm not splitting, because we're changing them, I'm not splitting the pistons off the caps, off the rods, right?
Yep.
So if we take it from the top, we did that one last time, let's do this one. Right, so let's go start to finish, all right?
Give it a good wipe.
Give it a good wipe down, Davlar. Right, so they're cracked rods. Ooh, drop the bolt. They're cracked, they're what's called cracked rods. So they don't have a dowel pin to locate a cap onto the rod or vice versa, like say a CP would. So what they are is they're cast in one piece. They have a groove machined into them, and they're literally put in a press and knocked, and they crack. So can you see? There's a big. Basically, it's the cast-in crack that then makes it self-locate. So think of it when you drop a mug and you break the handle off, you can essentially piece it back together perfect, can't you?
Okay, yeah.
Same kind of thing as that. So you cannot put the cap on the wrong way.
Right,
you see?
okay. Yeah.
Whereas then you put it back together properly and it doesn't disappear, but it kind of disappears. Do you know what I mean? So that's how you locate, that's called a cracked rod. So you've got a cap, you've got the rod itself, you've got bearing. Doesn't look horrific. It's starting to pull through on the thrust side, so on the rod side, which is obviously where the compression force is rotating the crank. So that's where you always get stress.
Yeah.
That's where you'll normally see the most wear, because that's where the force of combustion is going to push through your oil film and push the bearing onto the crank journal.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why good quality, clean oil help protect this bearing. Because what you start to see is when the oil is carrying a lot of, like that, debris, because brown oil is either combustion blow-by, it's mainly combustion blow-by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it carries the carbon round. And that's why it starts to go dark. And then those deposits get left on the parts, and that's why then everything starts to turn brown. So that should be silver.
Right, okay.
Right?
So brown is bad.
Brown is bad. That's why put it through the hot wash tank, run it through a couple of cycles, and it'll come out shiny clean.
Lovely.
You're washing that tarnishing off.
Yeah.
So obviously, that's your top and bottom bearing. They are located with a tang. The tang is there to locate it across the rod correctly. It does not stop it spinning.
Yep.
Yeah. So what stops the bearing from spinning what stops either the crank bearings or the rod bearings spinning is what's called bearing crush. So if you measured them, it's hard to do on a crack rod, but if I put it in like say a CP rod or an Italian RP rod where they're doweled, and I push the bearing flush on one side, it'll protrude out the other side.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So then when I put the cap on, same on the cap, when I put the cap on, those two, it basically presses on each other and they compress, they push outwards. And that's what locks them in the rod or in the crankcases.
Yep.
That's why you should never put anything behind it. When you strip an engine, they'll be dry.
Yeah.
So you see people building engines and they're putting bearing lube behind the bearings.
Right, okay.
So all that's doing is that's moving your clearance because you've put something behind it. So all we do here is, all I would do if I was reusing these rods is Scotch-Brite that up. Break any tarnishing up, any marks. Yeah, like it even, there's that much force, look. Can you see it's not an indent, it's literally left the mirror image printing on the rod.
Yep.
Off the bearing.
Yep.
So that's just where stuff's got caught in behind and it's almost like etched itself into the rod. So we just use Scotch-Brite, clean that up, clean the other side up, job done. And obviously we'd measure it. So that's the rod side. Small end's the same. Small end is like a brass journal or a bronze journal. Like a bronze bearing. Older stuff would be like a brass, but there'll be a bearing bush in the end. These are what are called trapezoidal. So can you see the small end's not parallel? It is a gentle V.
Yeah.
So they're trapezoidal. So can you see I can't get the rod to touch the edge. So that's binding up because the piston's V'd and the rod's V'd. That makes sense? So then all that happens is, as it comes around, it binds up. So you've just got to be careful then, especially if you design your own rods and pistons, that you can get the right amount of throw on the crank. So if that touches, so that's max it can throw inside the piston. But if your crank journal at 90 degrees to top dead center is out here, you're going to force the rod. Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got to make sure you've got from 90 degrees to your max throw is within your crank throw. Otherwise, you're going to quickly find out bad things.
Bad things?
Yeah, so
things.
we had some rods and pistons made, and it was basically the gap between the piston and the rod was too tight, so I couldn't, instead of it going like that, it would go like this.
Right.
And so what would happen is, as I was trying to turn the crank, it would bind up and it would fret. And then, of course, what it's trying to do then is, it's trying to, as it locks up, it's trying to twist the piston in the ball.
Ooh.
So if it shouldn't be a problem on anything that's well designed or a kit that's drop-in, but if you're designing your own stuff, those are some of the things you've got to look out for. It's a bloody big pin. And it's a strong pin, so you don't normally see these break on these engines. You see the rods bend. You don't normally see too many piston failures because they're billet to start with. They're not cast housings or cast pistons, right? So they are strong. They got a graphite coating on the bottom. and you can see where it's just started to drag through, look. So these polished bits at the bottom are where the piston's rocking in the bore.
Okay.
So all it does is it starts to scuff it up. You've obviously got valve cutouts in your pistons.
Yeah.
That's where your squish pad meets, so that's what brings your squish up. And then obviously what gets caught in your squish is then pushed into the center of the bore. So you're playing with combustion shape now. That's about it, mate. Then obviously you can play around with ring pack, ring thickness. So they run 3 ring.
Yeah.
So you've got your oil control ring, your second ring, and your top ring. And then they'll be different. Normally you'll run like a chrome or a chrome style top ring. You'll run like a cast second ring. And then oil control rings, there's all different styles. There's these ones, or the ones where the oil control ring goes up and down. Have you seen those ones?
Yeah, I think we've shown those before.
So yeah, just mark everything up and strip it out. Now, for this sort of application, I'm not too worried what state they're coming. Smoke on a pancake. I'm not too worried how they come out because I'm changing them. What I am interested in is how the skirts look, because the skirt condition is directly going to affect the liner condition, and it's the liners that we're keeping.
Yep.
Yeah, so if these are all scuffed up and galled up with loads of signs of particle debris down them, we'll be putting liners in it.
Okay.
But they don't look. Another indication that I think it's a leggy engine,
Yep.
but nothing there that sort of...
You obviously don't want to be putting liners in unless you really have to.
No, because they're thousands.
Yes.
Thousands, Dabbler.
So the obviously uprated internals going in this, rods, is that because of the inherent weakness with the originals?
One, yeah. But if this was going to stay a stock engine, I've got new stock rods we can sort of use.
Yeah.
But Chris wants to
He wants some more power, doesn't
more
he?
power, usually. I don't like that. Do it this way.
Another comment in the last video, was a couple of comments, why don't you bring your trolley nearer so you don't have to keep moving?
Why don't I bring my what?
The trolley nearer.
Which trolley?
So you didn't have to keep moving when you were removing parts or you were going to get tools.
Because I like being inefficient.
No, I think you like being warm.
Yeah.
Because moving
Walking
around as much as possible.
I know, this is the hard bit with the new strip down area, is it's cold.
Yep.
We haven't moved, that'll be the last thing we move over really, is a heater.
Which is over there,
over in the corner.
and we're not using it. Because what's the point?
What is the point? Yeah, it's... At the minute, I'm in limbo, because until my engine room is finished, I can't move my engine room over. And until I can move my engine room over, I can't strip engines over the other side. So I'm kind of in limbo a minute. And I'm also trying to do it so that when I do go over, it's organised, it's sorted. Do you know what I mean?
You can hit the ground running, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to move over all this crap and sort of block my area up. The gearboxes are getting stripped down before they go over there.
Yep.
The Noble and the Skyline engines won't go over until, well, Noble's not going over, but the Skyline engine will go over when I put the engine back in the Skyline. So it's just, I don't know, mate, just trying to keep on top of everything in a minute, get everything sorted, like.
Of course.
I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
How is the inside of an engine? That
It
filthy,
is
man.
filthy.
I mean, you can see how bad condition the oil is in. I mean, look at it in the bearings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we did, obviously, it's a bit backwards, because we spoke about your car yesterday in a video that's not gone out yet, haven't we?
Yes.
Did your car fail?
It did.
What did it fail on, Dav?
Front drop link, headlight, and a worn tyre.
And a what?
A worn tyre.
Ah, right.
Well, it's borderline, but it needs to. But it has done 225,000 miles.
Is it for sale? You want to sell it? Someone out there will buy that.
Somebody will.
The problem isn't that somebody will buy it, is it? The
No.
problem is you replacing it.
Well, exactly. Yeah. To be fair, it is just, it's never let me down. It's never really let me down in a major way. Look at that. Now, this is the bit you can't replace.
No. I have a spare, but this is pretty hardcore.
Yep.
But can you see how narrow the throw is?
Yeah.
Whereas you look at like a V10 one, it'd be, well, in comparison, how big the throw is on a V10, look.
Wow.
All right, it's not night and day.
But it's
But
significant.
this is why they're also high revving engines. If you had a big throw,
Yep.
that's what starts to limit your RPM.
Yep.
So it's motorbike engines are smaller again.
Yep.
That's why like my R6, Christ, is tiny.
Yeah.
So that's your stroke. That's basically your stroke. From bottom dead center to top dead center, your crank throw, that's what dictates your stroke.
Boring stroke. That's always
Boring
what's
stroke.
in a spec list of a car.
Yeah. So I need to pull the driveline damper off that. I'm just going to get that out of the way a minute. Yeah. I'll make a good lamp.
It would actually. Yeah. A nice lamp.
I like lamp. Lamp.
And you need to get on the case for your engine coffee table.
Yeah, I did have one. Do you remember when do you remember when we had it in there?
I do remember,
Our
actually.
first MoTeC unboxing.
Yeah, I think it was. Many moons ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to guess now. Wouldn't like to guess. Right, see if we can get some bearings out, because I struggled. There we go. So the mains look pretty good, to be fair.
That's good.
Little bit of scuffing.
Yeah.
Nothing too frightening.
Yeah.
You don't see lots and lots of scuffing on like DCTs and autos on thrusts, because normally the thrust is there to protect the crank when you're pressing the clutch.
Okay, yeah.
So this is why you see a lot of Golf Rs, S or EA AAA engines have issues.
Okay.
When they have big clutches put in them,
Yeah.
because they don't have 360 degrees of thrust bearing.
Right.
They've got the block and the bearings are in the crank,
Yeah.
in the cap. And what happens is you can modify the block to take another thrust bearing, but what happens is it doesn't take a lot of force to go through the thrust bearing because you've only got half the bearing.
Yeah.
And then the second the crank picks up on the block, then it fucks the crank.
Right, okay.
So it's almost like instead of the block being relieved
Yeah.
to allow the crank to move into it and be protected by the bearing, it's almost like the block is almost level with the cap bearing in place.
Yeah.
So the second it starts to go on the cap bearing, it's picking up on the block.
Right,
So
okay.
there's not much room for wear and thrust. So you see, there's quite a few. We've had an EA AAA engine, and I can grab all the front pulley and go dong, dong, dong,
Oh.
dong. And it's from, especially, clutch to start.
Right.
So you put clutch down
Yeah.
to start it, big heavy clutch,
Yeah.
and that spring pressure is fighting between the release bearing, which
Okay.
is your foot,
Yeah.
and pushing the crank that way.
Okay.
So it's pushing on the thrust bearing, because that's the only thing that stops the crank
Yeah.
touching the block.
So this...
Push to start. Wrong. Bad things.
Interesting. So what sort of power cars are we talking with things like this?
It's not necessarily power cars.
Yeah.
It's more what clutch is.
It's the clutch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where you normally sort of see it. Yeah, and it's mainly because the clutch pressure is super high.
Yep.
And it's got to push against the thrust bearings.
Okay.
And then what makes it worse is when the engine's stationary, there's
Yep.
no oil pressure.
Of course, yeah.
There's no oil flooding out over the bearing to protect it. Right. So again, they don't look, if I get you never reuse bearings anyway, really.
Yeah.
But the only one that shows up anything is this one. Can you see the score down the centre line?
I can, yeah.
And what's happened is debris come through the bearing hole, look.
Yep.
And if I show you, it matches up perfectly with the oil groove
Yep.
in this bearing. And then what's happened is it's just been dragged round by the crank.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But they're going in the bin anyway.
They will do. I sort of keep them until I'm happy everything's in a good place, just so I can refer back to them. I don't like hammering these out. I like to try and control what's going on. But you basically just
Tease it.
tease it out. Like so. Out. Numero 5. Number 6.
It's a constant battle, isn't it? Keeping clean.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, like if it was one we were doing, an engine we were taking out, we'd have it with the drain plugs out and everything out for bloody days.
Yeah.
If it was a non-failure build and we were taking it out to upgrade it, I'd have it spanking hot as well before I drop the plugs out, just to try and get as much of it out as you can.
So given this chilly time of year, have you got bobble hats on order?
They're on order, and they're just, because December was a quiet month work-wise,
Yep.
I didn't have £2 to spend on hats. Because December's hard, because it's obviously a quiet month. That bill comes out.
Oof, yeah.
And then obviously at the minute, running 2 units. That's 2 lots of rent, 2 lots of rates bills.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to have had them ready for winter, but I didn't, because I obviously had to put together the deposits for our track days.
A couple of car acquisitions as well.
Yeah. So just kind of picking what you...
So hold tight, guys. The bobble hats will be available.
Coming soon to a shop near you.
Yes.
All right.
So have you kept Chris up to speed with what you found so far?
I spoke to him the other day. We'd obviously run through majority of it.
Yep.
And because I'd kind of looked down the boards before he left, kind of said to him, I think the liners are fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes me think they're not. The only thing we picked up on Was this mark here, look? Don't know whether you can see it. That sort of stripe down in here. The little, you can just about see it there, look. But it goes the length, so I'll measure through that, but I can't feel it. That just looks more like a polishing mark.
Okay, yep.
There's no, you can see the cross hatching through it. It just looks like, how I explained it to Chris was that, you know, like when you glance up against your car with jeans on,
Yeah.
and you haven't scuffed your car, but you can see it afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that. Right, squirters out, and then we can
Nice.
put her in the wash tank. dear
All
boy.
underneath, yep. So can you get blocks for these?
Nope.
Ah.
You can get nothing. And I do, if you go to McLaren
Yep.
and you ask them for engine parts, you can get head gaskets, timing chains, valve stem seals,
Yep.
rocker covers,
Or a new engine.
or a new engine. Yeah.
Do you know what these are from
38 plus VAT.
38?
Grand, which is now why you see why I bought that one over there.
Yep.
So that's mine. I got two V10s and that one. So
Yeah.
my plan always was, when I was quiet, to build them and have them sat either to sell,
Yeah.
built, or ready to go for anyone with an issue. But I've just never got around to doing them, which is why I bought those CP rods and pistons to go in that one.
Of course.
But at the minute, Chris needs them more than me.
His need is greater.
A greater need. The greater good. The greater good. So I'm not going to get too carried away drain the gallery bungs out and stuff like that in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a couple of washes under its belt to get the worst of it off.
Yeah. It's like a pre-wash.
Like a pre-wash. So we'll put it in a motor tank now. We start to get some of this bad debris off. Pre-wash it. And then I want to pull the liners out because we'll replace a line of O-rings. And we'll pull the bungs out. Get the gallery brushes down it.
Give it a good floss.
Like that kind of floss.
I didn't actually get that on camera.
Did you not?
No.
Right. I've got to carry this without getting oily. Oily!
Do you want me to grab an end? No, he's got it.
That's a bit private, Davla. I meant to say, have you seen the video of the Beast getting flicked in the gonads by his son with a towel?
What, Eddie Hall?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
You
that.
haven't seen it?
It's Max, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maximus.
Yeah, he's chirping him,
Yeah.
and they're obviously about to do like a weightlifting thing or something. And,
Do a vid, yeah.
Yeah. Max goes, come on, mate, I'm going to smoke you.
Yeah.
And then he literally just goes whoosh, like that with a towel.
Right on the nad.
Gets him right in the chap.
I must admit, my boy Sid has done something very similar.
Has he?
Yeah.
But everybody in life is proportional, right?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Depends where you do your research. Where you hang out. Quite literally.
Because that must be like a fucking python. Doesn't say much for me. I'm only 3'2". I'm not sat here doing a video thinking about another man's junk, but
How did this take such
I know.
a tangent? Yeah, I don't know.
It's funny, right? Because obviously Cal's playing adults football now.
Yeah.
So they get fined and that anyway. Like the team fine each other for things. So if you get megged in training, you know, even his youth teams, it was always stuff like that. But he comes over the other day, he goes, oh, we get fined now if we don't have a shower in before we leave.
Right, okay.
So they get fined if they don't stay afterwards for food, win or loss. Yeah, things like that. They get fined if they do something stupid. They get fined if they get yellow card, red card, stuff like that. This all goes into like a Christmas sort of drinks fund then.
Okay, yeah.
And he comes over and he's like, Dad, you get fined if you don't stay for a shower. And I'm like, right. And he's like, yeah, so I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I look a knob if I go in a shower in my boxer shorts. Because he's only 17.
Yeah.
So it's like, but do you remember that? You were in school and you would like, you'd keep the towel up round you. And
mate.
At what age do you get to where you're just like, in the changing rooms, like...
There was always that one kid, though, at school who would just run around
I said it, right? I said it. It was one of the lads that I said, who is it in the team who wanders round?
Yeah.
And he says, oh, it's a kid he's played with for years. He's a year older than Cal. He's mint. His name is Jack Byrne. And Cal goes, he wanders round with nothing. How the fuck we're here? And I'm laughing, right? And he goes, if I was like Jack, I'd wander around like that as well. And I'm like, he's kind of like, it's the shock, I think, isn't it? I don't think it's the, oh, I shouldn't do that. It's the, oh, this is what you do when you're do you know what I mean?
It's different, though, because you think back, I know when I was at school, we used to get told to go in the showers. The PE teacher was a scary dude. You're all having a shower, get in the showers. Well, you don't be in there sort of like squashed up, trying not to touch anybody. But
the PE teacher's trying to help you wash.
The PE teacher's probably on a register now.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But you go to the gym now, and the guy who's strutting around with nothing is the old guy, isn't it?
Oh, it's the old
dude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I was in the gym the other day, and there was a dude with one foot up on the bench like that, hair dry in his ball sack. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Like, you do that with your own hairdryer, don't you?
Yeah,
but
not
with the communal hairdryer. It's a good job you don't need it.
It's a good job I don't need one,
You imagine that drying your hair and you get a pube waft across your face.
But I was talking to, so my boy's 14, and he comes home sometimes absolutely covered in mud in his uniform. I was like, dude, what's happened? He said, oh, we had rugby this morning in PE. I was like, do you not have a wash? No, we're not allowed to. We don't have a wash anymore.
Oh, really?
So they get piss wet through, muddy, and then told to put their uniform back on.
Wow.
I remember playing rugby back in the day, and we all used to get put in this big bath, a huge one, like 15 lads in there, with the coach. I think I might have some unresolved trauma from this coach. Hang on.
If I'm getting in a big bath with a load of blokes, Angela White better be in the middle of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh dear.
Honestly.
Right, so let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts on this.
You like bathing with pen? Honestly.
This was back in the 80s, I might add.
Yeah. And you wonder why you went to work for a bloody porn stroke car magazine.
Stroke, I like
Stroke.
that. Yeah.
How much can you say, story-wise? Statute of limitations got to be up on a lot of it, eh, Dad?
Oh, dude. It's not so much that. It's things that weren't particularly legal that might be a problem. I'll have to have a think.
I know. You'd never be allowed to to shoot porn scenes on the bonnets of cars anymore, would you?
No. Yeah. I wasn't in it, by the way, I'd like to add. It was a filming capacity.
Right. That's the next thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? All these accusations and stuff. You're just waiting for an editor to get called out, aren't you? You know what I mean? Different times, lad. Different times.
Different times. Right, so We are
Just trying
getting-
to, yeah, I mean, I'm not obviously going to be able to wash all the debris off. What I'm trying to do is get as much oil off as I can, because it's ultimately the oil that kills the fluid,
Yeah.
as in my hot wash tank, because it sits and it floats on top.
How often do you replace the oil on the hot wash tank?
Normally every engine build.
Right, okay.
So obviously do you know what I mean? If I literally just threw this in the wash tank,
Yep.
then I've got my new rods and pistons and all my new parts I'm not going to want to put in there, because the fluid will be dirtier than the stuff I'm putting in it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like doing your dishes in dirty water.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you don't, even that, you don't put, when you load your dishwasher, you don't chuck half-filled plates in. You rinse them off, and it's the same kind of
Principle,
thinking, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get as much off as you can. And it is good stuff. I mean, you know, it carries away. Well, look at it.
Yeah.
If I turn it off, it stops.
So before this machine then?
I used to have a similar, like a machine mark sort of special
Yep.
that I use Geyser in.
I think you'll find that's pronounced jizzer.
Jizzer. The problem with that was it was solvent based, and that really would wreck the wash machine.
Yeah.
So my very first one of those was off Safety Clean.
Okay.
Similar kind of machine, but the chemicals were shit. They got it wrong every time they turned up for a delivery. Because I use Super B, which is kind on titanium and aluminiums.
Yeah.
And mate, fucking one time they turned up, there's a alloy wheel cleaner in the bastard thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I binned it off. I bought my own. I buy my own fluid. I service the machine myself.
You know exactly where you are.
Yeah, exactly that, mate.
Controlling the variables.
Yeah, like, you know, that fluid will get to the end of its life with, say, say after this engine's done and I'm ready to throw it. Then I'll get, like, say for example, Nigel's gearbox,
Yep.
and I'll wash that.
Well, he's a Yorkshireman. He would applaud you reusing stuff for that.
Yeah.
Get the cost down.
You know, drag the worst of his gearbox off, because again, it's a sort of gearbox that just
Nasty.
just wrecks. Well, you smell it, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
when we split that diff out of his gearbox, it was honking.
It was.
But you won't get it all off.
Stage one.
But stage one, dear boy, just trying to carry away the worst of it, agitate off. But I mean, even like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that sort of area. And you can see, look. You see what I mean? Just the debris coming off, look.
Ew.
Someone actually commented, do we not clean the engines before we strip them? And the honest answer is, I've never had one this dirty before.
Well, that says it all, really.
Yeah. But also, no, I don't like the thought of taking it outside and jet washing an engine.
Yeah, that scares me.
Makes
I
me
must
feel
admit.
funny inside.
Yeah.
Well, there's that much in there, look. It's starting to block up the drain in the wash tank.
Yep. Now you see the difference. Look, this is the untreated bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Leafy.
Oh, in the eye.
They splash you in the face.
Just make sure there's none on the lens.
Yeah, look. And some of it's corrosion, so you're not going to get it off.
Yeah.
But some of it is...
Hang on, let's see that again.
Oh, sorry, mate.
You were too quick then. I couldn't even move to observe. There we go. Gunk.
There's a stone in that one.
That is properly
Yeah, my drain's blocked underneath. That's what that is.
it's nasty.
Nasty.
So again, when people suggest that the whole process could be quicker,
Yeah, come and do this.
this is the part.
There's some glass in here. There you go. And some windscreen.
Oh.
Yeah.
It did flip over, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it's going to hit anything. Let's check. Nope. Sweet. All right, check that out in 5 minutes. So that's the block in the wash, but I really want to clean one of these heads. So let's do this next.
Oh.
I want to see how good we can get these.
So let's just take a close look at the state of this. Look, that is hanging.
Very, very dirty. Very dirty. Inside's obviously not too bad.
Yep.
But I just want to see how much of this crap we can get off.
And again, this is what? Not being properly looked after? Some of the damage caused when
This is obviously, it was a driving experience car,
Oh,
wasn't
of
it?
course, yeah, yeah. They tend to get a hard life.
Yeah, I think something got spilt in the V and it just never really got cleaned up.
Yeah.
But it's oily muck because it's not. If it was muddy, like muddy mud, it would come off.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's coming off like it's oily. See, like that. That's a little bit of sort of everything. That's a bit of corrosion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you've seen a few experienced cars here, haven't you?
Oh god, yeah.
And are they, without exception, all?
They're all normally fucked.
There you go.
They go, well, they're looked after, but they've normally all had, well, they've all had a hard life, haven't they? Because, you know, it's like, don't buy a track car.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Build your own. Don't buy an X-Track car, because all it's done all its life is, guess what?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're buying a prepared GT3 car off a professional team that warm it up with oil heaters and monitor what's going on. How many people at track days literally switch it on
Yep.
and go out and hammer the living daylights out of it?
Full send, off you go.
This is why the BMW S1000 engines, like what I had in my BM, has failed so much, in my opinion, because they carry 4 litres of coolant.
Right.
So people go, oh, yeah, it's at 90 degrees. And even me, I'd put heaters on mine and everything. Do you know what I mean? I'd really try to do everything I can. But there's no oil temp gauge. So I could have been going out and getting on it in a session at 40-degree oil temp for all I know.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what does the most damage. And then, yeah, rod bearings on mine, rod bearing went, and then that's it. You know, wipe the crank out, wipe the set of rods out. Not good.
Not good.
But
Talking of bikes, then, when does the season begin? March.
yeah, first rounds. Testing's March. First round's April, I think.
Okay.
So my first round's Cadwell. But we go to Califat with Dan Cooper with DCM in March.
Yep.
So I go testing there. So I've got to get them Honda engines for him built by then, because his riders are coming as well to test.
Yep.
We've got to get that sorted. Right. Before we put that in the washing tank, I just want to pull these solenoids out. And you can just
So driving over today,
yes,
it was a bit skiddy, a bit slidey.
in the Ford.
Oh yes, in the galaxy of love,
Yes.
in the wife's car.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you off camera, there was a learner in front of me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a car with L plates, it's got the proper sort of prism triangle on the top,
Yeah.
and graphics on the side. And it was a Honda Civic Type R.
You're learning to drive in a Type R.
Mate,
Get a new driving instructor.
what is his insurance going to be on
Mate,
that?
honestly.
Is it dual control?
Yeah.
Be interesting to find out.
It must be, surely, right? If you're a professional.
You would think so. So that got me thinking, what's the craziest car that you've ever seen, well, that you've ever learnt to drive in, or that you've had
That's
a
a good
driving lesson
shout.
in?
What did I learn in? I learned in a Ford Focus.
Okay, yeah.
Ford Focus.
I think it was a Fiat Punto.
Was it?
Yeah.
They were popular. They were there with the VTSs and stuff for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. There's a guy on Instagram, I think his username's Jason GTI. And
Yeah. I built his RS3.
of course, there you go.
Yeah.
You know him. But have you seen the collection he's got now?
He's got old classic stuff, hasn't he?
So he's got Delta Integrale,
Yeah.
he's got a Uno Turbo,
Yeah.
Escort Cosy. What else has he got? Series 1 RS Turbo Escort.
Right.
He's got a few others, and without doubt, they're all absolutely immaculate, and they're all absolutely slammed as well.
Yeah. Right, so the thing you got to be careful of now, which the eagle-eyed among you would have noticed, was I had a shim fall out because I turned it upside down being a dickhead, is we got to pull the shims out
So
so that we at least have them in a decent order.
I'm guessing you don't want to be losing those.
I don't want to lose them, but also I want to have them in an order so that when I rebuild the heads,
Yep.
I'm in a good place shim-wise, and then I can measure them and then adjust the shim clearances.
Okay.
Which, I'm putting new cams, I'm putting new bloody rockers in it, so they're going to be all over the place anyway, but at least I start off in a pretty handy place.
Yep. Organised, you know where everything is.
These are a bloody nightmare to get off. Right, so we'll just pull shim at a time. Keep them in order. I can put them on the measuring centre in a bit and figure out what size everything is.
Yep.
But at the minute, what I don't want is put it bloody in a wash tank and all the shims end up
Scattered.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because they're not buckets. They sit on the stem. So they sit on the stem of the valve.
Yep.
So whereas like Ferraris and Lambos, like the V12 stuff, they're like discs.
Okay.
So they look like big washers. The other trick as well now is steady with the tray.
Yes.
Right. So we're safe there. So let me move these out of the way. So that's essentially it now. So if I strip the head, I'll strip it into this tray as well. So valve, everything. I've got them out. I need a 7mm for those. Let me get this air valve out the other side. Again, there is core plugs and stuff we'll take out of each head. But at the minute, I just want to get the worst of the debris off.
Yeah, of course. So what do you think the future is for McLaren then? Because they seem to struggle, don't they?
Yeah. I think they do silly things. Right. I think they get a bad rep, if I'm honest, because we don't see any more failures than anything else with them. It's not like they're the worst cars we work on. I really like them. It's funny, that short we put out yesterday is obviously on the LT, and I still argue that's the best car I've ever driven.
Well, that says a lot, doesn't it?
I don't have a 200 grand for one. The only, I just think the V10s are just that better sound.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's something about that V10.
Naturally aspirated for noise. Do you know what I mean? Like, you go and listen to GT3 or World Endurance or anything like that. Best sounding cars, RSR Porsche.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The V10s.
Well, it's like going back to the V10 F1 cars, isn't it? I mean, they were special.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell, that's tight as a tiger, lad. Do I need a drive of screwings to get that out? Levering bar.
That's just reminded me, actually. We had some footage of the classic endurance race at Spa.
Yeah,
when we went to visit. I haven't done anything with that yet.
No.
And there were some really cool cars.
Yeah.
You know, original GT40s and E-Type Jags and big V8 American stuff, and then the newer stuff as well.
Yeah, well, it's funny because James has got to drop off an engine that was in one of those cars I built.
Oh, really?
So the Huracan that was out there, yeah.
Yeah. I think I've got some footage of the Huracan.
Right, so I've got cam solenoids out.
Yep.
Let's have a look at this block a second.
Aha! Steaming.
It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look at the difference already.
I know. So while it's this side down and it's still in the wash tank,
Yep.
just get all the bloody silicone off it, right? So gasket faces sort of cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll flip over a sec. So here you're just trying to, where obviously the front cover's been on and it's gasketed, as in with a proper seal,
Yeah.
what happens is all the debris falls down between the casings and you get this corrosion line look.
Yeah.
So you just need to make sure that's clean. As in, not completely gone, like milled flat, but just you've got a good sealable surface. So when you put the front cover back on, you're not trying to seal against corrosion because you'll get leaks.
We don't want leaks.
We don't want leaks. Well, you can already see how different it is in here, look.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
Look at that. Like Farmer Giles Field, that.
What is it?
Just mud
Crap.
and debris. Look at that. That is scooped full. Yeah, just where it. This is why I think the V at some point, the breather had split and filled it all full of. Look at that.
Yeah.
And filled the V full of oil.
Yeah.
And then all the sort of road dirt, grease, grime you get while you're driving along in life.
Just sticks to it like
yeah.
poo to a blanket.
Well, mate, that is.
Oh.
Chunky. Oh, what we got in here? Got treasure, Dav. Treasure. Find the treasure. Oh, more glass.
Oh.
Honestly, there's more. Oh, bollocks. And it broke. There's more glass in here in the crystal meth lab. Look at that. I get the impression gravity's not helping me here, so uno mementos. Kind of want to do it that way? Or that way? How did we ever manage it before we had lights on phones?
I have no idea, honestly.
Isn't it?
Because did you carry around a pocket torch?
Nope.
Me neither.
Carried around a shank made from a toothbrush. And hidden a Bible. Grew up in South Wales, mate. Know what I'm saying?
Did a 5 stretch in South Wales.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. But. But what? No, but. Whose coat is that jacket hanging up on the floor?
That's my favourite.
So I might do like a Wembley thing and sell some of the ground that this engine was built with.
You could do. Yeah.
Broke up most of it. Mate, and that is absolutely after we washed out.
Yeah, because this isn't the stage 1, is it?
No. Actually smells like mud as well. You smell it?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? It smells
Yeah.
like an old garden. Farmer Giles' garden. Right. I was going to put a head in, but I might just put that back in.
I think that needs to go again, doesn't it?
Cherry oats. Cherry rice and wheat. Ooh. Go on in, Ethel. Nice and clean. A little bit around here, don't more cheese on it. Right, send it again. And while we're doing that, we will not put my drill in the front of the wash tank. Done that before. I left my drill, I cleaned like what I did there.
Oh, I think I was here for that. You had a very sparkly clean drill.
Yeah, where the fuck's my drill?
Just didn't work too well afterwards.
Can't beat a bit of degasketing. Right. And a little bit along the top. Again, the same sort of thing, look, can you see?
Yep.
You see the line where the gasket was, and then
Yep.
it's obviously started to... And there is nothing worse than building an engine and having an oil leak on it straight away. And the two causes of that are either shitty prep or like a wrong seal, or do you know what I mean?
I'm good, thank you, bud. Cheers, man. I like the way you just requested tea and Jordan obliged.
Yeah. All the years of making him tea, mate.
And he's getting his customers cleaning their own cars. Which, really? That's the ultimate.
George, Dad says you're living a dream, mate. You make the tea and the customer polishes their own cars. How many conversations we had about that though? Why work on cars? I'll just rent the fucking ramps out, someone else can come and do it.
Yes. We'd like to rent a ramp.
Well,
Don't let us know in the comments.
funny enough, when before I got my first building,
Yep.
when I was still kind of doing stuff on my driveway, there was a company in Bristol called Rent a Ramp.
There was.
It was run by a lad called Chris.
Because a mate of mine used to use those.
Yeah, and he's now the guy that does all the electric stuff, isn't he?
He was here
on.
for the guy Martin shoots.
That's it. Yeah.
Chris Hazel.
Yes. So
He's really big in the EV world now, isn't he?
yeah, massive.
Yeah.
But it was down, like, there's a power station down
Yeah,
Bristol,
that's it.
and he had ramp it up or
Ramp it up.
yeah,
That's
ramp it up.
Ramp it up. And I think his company now is it Felton Systems.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but they put, you know, electric motors in. I think what they did an original
Yeah,
Mini, they've done
because-
Porsche.
So the Beetle was built by Electric Classic Cars.
That's the one, Guy Martin's.
Yeah, but I think the kit was off Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's how it worked.
No, he's a good guy, Chris. I photographed his. He had a Liberty Walk black Gen 1 R8.
Yeah, so they built that. Because I think he videoed it, didn't he? And then that was in storage here for a long time. Do you remember?
That's right. Because I photographed that for Fast Car magazine.
Yeah, because a customer bought that, and he bought a supercharger as well, but I don't think it ever got done. I think he sold it before it kind of got to that sort of spec.
Yeah. It's a small world, dude.
Mate. So what I've done here, I've got a snap stud to get out, but what I've essentially done here is I've come back, I've literally tried to clean these faces up,
Yep.
that the exhaust gases, the exhaust seal on. So that one's good all the way around, but this one here, I don't know whether you can hear it now. Well, can you see it?
I might hear it. Hang on, let's try this. It's like the Audi RS6 video.
There you go, it's just starting to pick off now, look.
Yeah.
So that's just, again, sort of gasket material and corrosion. So you've got to make sure you get that off. But what I kind of do is I do it with this brush on this drill. And then if I start getting big areas that are corroded or blown through, then we'll mill the gasket face.
Okay.
So all you're just trying to do at the minute is ascertain how much extra work you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you look there, Dav, I don't know whether the camera, that's perfectly smooth, but can you see that little lump there? So that's proud.
We don't want that.
No. And then if you look again, dear boy, Magico!
Just like that.
Like that, it's fucking gone, innit? Bryn, you dickhead, why did you invite Jean? She was fucking brilliant in that program. Salad, where's the salad?
It never ends, does it, eh?
Never rains, but it pours, eh, Mush?
Yep.
So again, same kind of thing. Just try and get as much oil and crap out as you can.
So let's flip this round then. If you couldn't be asked doing this, or you did a very poor job of all this, what?
Right. So say you just didn't clean the outside.
Yep.
It looks shit,
So that's number one.
right? My other question there is, well, if you haven't cleaned the outside, or if the outside doesn't look clean, how the fuck have you cleaned the inside?
Yeah.
So that's two, right? I wouldn't aquablast this.
Right.
There's too many intricate moving parts, and the aquablast media is like fucking drive shaft grease.
Right. Okay.
So I would work in parts. I would use it on a dull part, if that makes sense. So something that maybe hasn't got galleries in.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't use it in something as complex as this.
Yeah.
You'd just ask, honestly, mate, one piece of media, and it's fucked.
Yeah. Because there's such close tolerances with this.
Yeah. So I would. So if we cleaned these up and I really didn't like them, then I think the option then would be, in all honesty, ice blasting.
Right. Okay.
Because it doesn't use media.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that's left behind is the dirt.
Yeah.
Well, the dirt obviously isn't an issue because it's covered in dirt anyway. It's not like I'm using glass bead. Soda, yeah, you could soda blast it, but I don't think there's much. So, you know, like the ice blasters, I think are flying at the minute, and they seem to be everywhere.
Well, we did the skyline underneath, didn't we?
Yeah, that was at Podium.
Yeah.
So I think you're always fighting risk versus reward, really.
Yeah, of course.
You're never going to get away from corrosion, so to speak. But like this now, I wouldn't, like that is going to be. How much
Sometimes
is this gasket
a good
material?
old-fashioned blade is the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll get their heads skimmed anyway. What you're trying to understand at the minute is, like here, that's corrosion in the water jacket.
Yeah.
So, for me now, I'd be questioning how much of this, how strong has been the coolant in the engine.
Okay.
Because coolant is a rust inhibitor.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't get big coolant buildup, corrosion buildup.
Okay. So you think that's just lack of coolant or inadequate?
Not lack of coolant, but probably every time they've topped it up, they've just used water.
Right. Okay.
So a really, really fine Scotch pad. But again, you know, if you can clean the face up and you haven't got to skim it, don't skim it.
Yeah.
Don't skim for the fuck of it.
Don't give yourself extra work, extra stress.
But you're also changing things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you always try to
reduce any variables.
Yeah. Juden! Oh, he's on the phone, so he doesn't want to talk to us.
We got a wave.
Yeah. Right. So let's have a look at how this tank's doing, how this block's doing, and then we'll chuck this in.
Ooh.
That's a spicy meatball.
I remember stood next to this in July,
Yeah.
wishing I wasn't here, and now I'm quite happy to be close to it.
It's nice when you lean on it.
Clears the pores.
Gentle
Exfoliation,
Yeah.
if that's even a word.
Can't beat a good facial, can you imagine? Right, let's have a look, see how the garden looks. Ow! Bastard. Again now, look.
Yep.
Still need a couple of good goings in pores.
Yep. But as you'd expect, there's
Yep.
lots of crevices there and hard to reach areas.
Hard to reach. So, we now you can start to see like how good the bores are. You see that? You've got a couple of particle scores, but you can still see the cross-hatching. Everything's mint.
Yep.
Same with that one.
So good news for Chris.
Yeah. I wouldn't be worried about that. My next step now is pull the liners out, get this back in and get all these areas, concentrate on these areas now, look.
Yeah.
Can you see these black bits? I've got new brackets, top and bottom. Take the galleries out, but I mean, you can see how much of a difference in here it looks.
Yeah, it's night and day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how much of a job is it to get the liners out?
I've got that pull-up. We've done it before, haven't we? You remember?
Of course we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So that'll take an hour. Pull the liners out.
Yep.
Clean all the liners. Get them lined up. Get them measured. Get new O-rings on them. Clean the block. Clean the powering bores down inside them. Then press new liners in. So yeah, at least I can go back to him now. I can go, right, it is clean. It is sorted. I'm happy with the block.
Yep.
Happy with the crank.
And again, talking about the reasons for cleaning to this extent, you know, you want to examine it fully.
Well, yeah. At the minute now, I want to make sure it's good to go, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That we can use it. Right, let's chuck this in here for 5 minutes. That looks a little bit different, lad. Don't it?
Certainly does.
I mean, you can go a little bit crazy and, you know what I mean?
And just to say, this isn't for the purposes of the video. This is what you do every time.
Yeah, yeah. You want as much bloody. I mean, that was what, 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But you don't want any of this because that's obviously called dirt. You know, you want the carbon build-up to be gone. All right, you're not going to do much about all the corrosion on everything unless you ice blast it or whatever. But
yeah,
like, look at that. I've taken out the wash tank, mate, and it's still got grass on it.
Yep.
So, upside down grass. So yeah, we'll just literally, it is keep scrubbing, take it out, agitate the areas that need help. Do you know what I mean? Like in there. Like this bit here.
Yeah.
You know, so you're always trying to get as much off as you can. So you've got a good base to start with. Like I said, there's not much you can do about sort of the corroded finish, but you want it clean.
Yep.
So we'll just keep scrubbing away. There's no point in me showing you the other one because it's a rinse and repeat of this one.
Indeed.
But the inside, look, different gravy.
Oh yeah.
So that's even a good place to strip it down now as well. You can pull the. Get them out. Ow! Maybe don't show that bit.
I won't show that bit.
Oh, can't even get them out now. And then you can just pop the rockers off, but they're a bit tight on the pins. So you pull the rockers off.
Yeah.
We'll get the valves out in the valve seat machine.
Yep.
And then yeah, because these are scrap anyway, we'll throw these away. We'll get new ones.
Lovely job.
Strip the valves out. New valve stem seals as a minimum. We'll inspect the valves, and then yeah, make sure there's no wear on the guides. That's how you sort of inspect the heads, really.
And away you go.
And away you go, Mush.
Right. So
Right.
we'll be looking at a part 3 with this then.
Yeah, so we'll obviously have to start putting it bloody back together now, won't we? So
Yeah.
But first step, now I've got everything stripped like you've seen. I know what I've got to order. So
Yeah.
I'll go over the other side now. I can put together a parts list. Look what I've got in stock. I know I've got an alternator. I know I've got some heat shields and bits and pieces. And then see what he wants to do, because he's obviously got the old manifolds on it. So I've got some later tubular manifolds and stuff like that. And see how much money we can take off a big famous YouTuber. Cha-ching!
Nice.
Nice. I don't know if you want to use that bit because we kind of done an outro, didn't we? It's a change to see me working, isn't it?
No comment.
What do you mean? I put your lights up at the weekend and your clock.
Yeah. Great.
See? And I set a fire in the garden.
Yep. Oh yeah, your
Fire?
fire. Have you spoken about that?
No, not really. Yeah, we had ivy all up our wall.
Dances.
Yeah.
Literally the happiest I've ever seen him.
Rightio.
Fun.
I
We had
made
a
a
massive,
fire.
I had like a 5-hour bonfire in my garden.
Oh, nice.
Cleared all the ivy off. We got a wall down the side of our garden and it was driving me mad. But of course, you just cut it down and throw it somewhere and it just keeps spreading. So
The neighbours were loving you.
it wasn't that bad.
No.
Every time a police car went past or you heard a fire at you were freaking out. Rick, they're coming!
Fire engine. Someone's reported us.
Because of course the fire starts to go cold, doesn't it? And you're throwing plants on it and it smokes out.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep it raging, like, so you don't get any smoke.
We get some old tyres on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could do that. Got plenty of scrubs.
No.
Right, shall we sign off then?
Do you want to say bye?
Bye. How do we sign off?
Hey, send a message to someone special?
No.
No?
Well, how about
All the special people that work.
we say thank you for all the new subscribers?
Oh
which is-
yeah, that's impressive. That has been, I don't know what's happened there, but I
Me,
mean-
babe, if I'm honest. It's
Oh yeah,
me.
because you're kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
Ick.
That was Will Ferrell, wasn't it?
Wow!
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal around here.
Kind of a big routine around here.
Not in my house, am I? Fifth in line. No, hang on. Behind the cats is out. Oh, you know. All right.
Right.
Yeah, no, thank you for subscribing. It has gone mental. What are we up to? Like 53,000 now, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's all good. Be all right, I think. More people would slag me off.
I know the comments are still wild.
You have a good chuckle over them, don't you?
Apparently you got to stop swearing because people are letting their kids watch it.
It is marked as adults viewing,
It's true.
Yeah.
so, but I do try to tone the language down.
I sometimes chop bits out, but also it's real life. It's how it is.
Yeah, well,
Potty mouth.
thanks for coming in, Kate. Wow.
You didn't give me a script, so
Hey?
I'm going off script.
You've gone off script.
I'm going off script. You didn't
Okay.
give me a script.
You did have someone asking you your OnlyFans as well, don't you? Every time you're in a video as well,
don't have any.
your Instagram followers goes. Brrr.
I know, yeah. I bet. No. Rick would probably more likely have an OnlyFans than me.
I should have an OnlyFans. Imagine if you had 50,000 subscribers on OnlyFans. What would that get me?
I don't know.
Imagine if you did like
Well, work it out.
100
You could do like, it's
100K
$10 a sub. No.
100k subscribers and Kate will have an OnlyFans.
There we go. You heard it here first. 100,000 subs and Kate gets an OnlyFans.
There we go.
I'm in the
Right.
money.
I've got nice feet.
You heard it here first. Drop a comment, get them subs up, share it to your friends. 100k, she's on board. Oosh. That is it.
Right.
What was that?
Because my
Before Rick
fingers.
gets punched,
Yeah, that's
sign
it.
off.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I think that's it. Anything to add?
You did do the
Give me a
blue.
blue.
You want to blah, 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 blah. You do it.
Always do
Go
it.
on, you do it.
No, it's your thing.
No, it's your thing. Yeah.
What do you do?
what does matey do? Big Hero 6.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.